You said, come back to the podcast here, because we started off the show with it. Rob Van Dam's podcast, One of a Kind.
Yeah, it's on Premier Streaming Network.
I just was at the Premier Streaming Network Wrestling Showcase with Josh Chernoff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love Josh, and congrats
Awesome.
to him on everything he's built.
Yeah.
And you can listen to One of a Kind wherever you're listening to this right now. You had some really kind things to say about Brock Lesnar. You were talking about just like how special of a talent he is in pro wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Always have been. Definitely. You know, like what's not to love? You know, he's good for the business, and the fact that he can back it up and has backed it up and can go on, you know, when he was UFC world champion, there was like, there's nothing else that would legitimize if you want to go that far.
He's the baddest man on the planet.
Yes, and what we do doesn't get enough respect because every fan thinks they can do it, and that seems to be more and more what they're after, you know, like with that all-inclusive, whatever it is, it seems like they're reaching out to get normal people, like to get a skateboarder and a basketball player. It seems like athletes that are normal kids or whatever, so that people do relate more, and then people do think it's easier and that everybody can do it. At least that's one observation I've had looking at where it seems to be going. You know, when I grew up, someone had to tell me that they could get me in, you know, if I started lifting weights and stuff, they'd get me in. Otherwise, I don't think I ever would have had the idea. These guys were just larger than life. Like, don't you have to be born a pro wrestler? You know, I didn't think I could do that.
It is amazing to me when I see independent wrestlers who have clearly never seen the inside of a gym before. And I'm like, that feels like step one. Even just for the cardio, that feels like step one of like, you watched wrestling growing up, you know what most wrestlers look like. Just start to lift some weights.
Yeah, you know, when we had Spike Dudley in ECW, that made him so different because he was so small. He was 150 pounds, and he would just take a hell of an ass whoop, and, you know, we would just throw him around, beat the shit out of him. And, of course, the fans would really get behind him, and he would, like, sneak in a few moves, you know, and have a comeback, and people would be like, yes. And that was so fun, but he was so different. But then obviously he's going to have fans that are going to be inspired by him.
But he still lifted weights.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Really?
No.
Wow.
No, Spike wasn't one to lift weights. And, you know, why would he?